actually filming in a factory setting.
Really? This is where it started?
Yeah, this is actually the old part of Riyadh, so Riyadh actually started in this part.
Really? Oh.
So this is one of my old paintings. I did this in 2017. Okay, so the story actually starts up here.
Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Angela and this channel is all about beauty, fashion, and life. I'm sure you've all realized now that I'm leaving Riyadh. I'm moving to US, to Texas. I wanted to show you one of my favorite things in Saudi Arabia, one of the things I'm going to miss the most, and that is having access to my favorite artist, KJ. Now, KJ, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Halai Jimasi. Everyone calls me KJ. I'm an African tribal artist. That means that I paint portraits of African people with a lot of reference to African culture. And I come from Kenya. I've been in Saudi Arabia for about 8 years. Welcome to my studio. This is probably something you've never seen. I came to this country in 2012.
Okay.
2 weeks to me arriving here, I've been homeless. I've been living on the street for more than a year.
Before arriving here?
Yeah,
really?
Just 2 weeks, yeah. So I actually came here with 12 riyal in my pocket.
Oh, wow.
So it was, I had gone through so much. Living on the streets in Nairobi is very different from what happens in the States. Just to use a public restroom, you have to pay for it. You have to pay to have a shower. It was insane. So a lot of hardship compressed into 1 year. I felt like I had aged 30 years. So those two were the first paintings that I first did when I came here. This is just a reflection of how old I felt. Okay. Then I did these probably a year later. I started with this one, and then this came, I think, about 3 months later. It was a sort of the same face, but you can see here there's still darkness. I'm still not happy, I'm still not smiling, but here's a bit of sunshine.
Things are getting brighter.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel much, much better.
And what brought you to Riyadh?
I came to teach, actually. I met a friend of mine while I was on the street, and she was shocked, the state in which she found me. So she said, do you mind? This is something I know you're not quite the type to do this, but it's better. So I was like, okay, no problem. Let me just start afresh, because I had lost everything, everything, including my children, so it was just insane. So that's what brought me here, and this was a fresh start for me. So you might have noticed I rarely do portraits with groups of people. Yeah. So this one was the first one that I did, and this was around about the time that I started to mingle with people here. I started to go to parties and to dance. So this was a reflection of what I was starting to feel. Okay. Like now I'm in a group setting. Now I can trust people a little bit, So this was a little after that, and I was feeling like sunshine is coming into my soul, So I was starting to feel like I might still be human. Around about this time, these ones I did last year, but this was from I think 2 years ago. So this was when I stopped teaching and started painting full time. So I got a lot more time to really improve on my craft. You can see the proportion now is starting to come out right, you know, and then I started to put in patterns. To me, these are tribal markings. If you see, a lot of people like from South Sudan, they still do that. They, instead of tattoos, they make incisions on the skin. This was done, first of all, as a rite of passage from one age group to another. Secondly, it was a sign of beauty. Those specific beauty patterns that made you look beautiful. And then third, which was the most important, it was a form of identification. So if a tribe raids, you know, like there's a cattle raid and they carry children, and then the children manage to run off like maybe 5 or 6 years later, through their tribal markings, they can know where they came from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how early do they start doing the tribal markings?
Usually the first rite of passage is about the age of 8.
Okay.
Yeah. The next one comes at around 13, 14, 15.
Puberty.
Yeah. And then it goes on, I think, 21. And then around about 35, it keeps going on, it never stops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it never stops. So some people look at it as very ugly because it's texturized, but it can be done well. And to me, that is our culture.
It is.
You know, it just depends on how you look at it. Okay. Oprah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then this is a Kenyan lady, she passed away. She was the very first Nobel Prize winner in Kenya. She was an activist for trees and forests and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the process, I'm finding myself going bigger and bigger. I really enjoy the process of painting large. And I'm doing a lot more of African patterns because this is something you can find on Ankara fabric. It's, you know, part of the African brand. So why not superimpose it on our faces?
Right.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
This is actually my favorite. Yeah. So, yep. Finally here. Started to experiment. I wanted so badly to do 3D paintings. So I wasn't sure how to start. I started just by adding this, doing macrame. But I stopped because I could not get this in time in this city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it took me about 3 months to source this.
Oh, okay.
So, and what came wasn't even enough for what I wanted. So I was like, okay, let me try something else. This didn't quite come out the way I wanted, but that's all right. Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Welcome to my studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I will start with this particular painting. So there's a reason she's here. Every time I walk into the studio, she's the first person I see. You can see it's a smiley face. I painted this the first time I was able to really laugh. You know, that belly laugh, hearty laughter. So I painted her afterwards. One of my brothers is a doctor. He's an oncologist. And he used to go out of the city. That is music, sorry. He used to go out of the city to tribes that are marginalized to give them medical care. So she had cancer, okay? And she was in the last stages. But her smile, you know. So one day I just asked her, you know, how do you manage? She's like, my life is so short, I have to laugh. So I paint that and I look at her every day. Every time that I feel terrible, I remember her, you know. This is one of the most recent things I've started to do, abstract art. This is the African family, father, mother, children. So in Africa, when I say a family, I don't mean like children that you have given birth to. Yeah, there's the extended family. We are so interconnected. In my tribe, we don't even have a word for cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sister. Who's this? My sister, and this one my sister. All of these, yes.
Everybody's your sister.
So this is how interconnected we are, and I kind of like playing around with that texture as well. Okay. So what I think downstairs you've seen, I started going through a phase where I was doing the same face several times, just to see how different it can be. So these two, I think I did 4 of these, the other 2 I sold. So I did this one first and then later this one. And you might recognize that one. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this was, these are really old, probably from 2017, 2018 thereabouts. Okay. About this time is when I started to put in patterns in the face, but you can see there's no texture just yet. So the texture really came in a lot more last year. Here. And actually, as you can see, as you come up, the paintings are changing, which has
evolved.
Yeah, and it's also a reflection of my inside. Here, the colors are so much brighter. I'm a lot bolder. I just feel like I'm alive, you know. Yeah, I love this. I love it. Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you about this too. You wanted to take part in this, but it had to stop. So I was working with a school in Kenya. This school started as we had post-election violence, and a lot of children lost their parents. They were displaced. So some gentleman and his wife, they took the children into his house, and after a while he decided to just start teaching them in his house, and then it developed into a school. So now he has from grade 1 up to grade 8, you know. So I told him, I see that you're still building, like now his project, he wants to build a dormitory for the girls, because a lot of them are, you know, they come from poor homes and things like that. So let me see if I can help you. So I decided we'll take the top student every month. I will give we decided on a figure, $100 for each child. It wasn't just myself, I had someone else helping me, right? $100 for the top child. I think it was 60 for number 2 and 40 for number 3. And then I'll do the portrait of the number 1. So every month I'll do. So at the end of the year I'll have 12 portraits, combine that into a calendar, and then sell it and give them the proceeds. But unfortunately we had to stop after 3 months because a lot of things weren't really working out. I wasn't being able to get the pictures on time and stuff like that. So we put it on hold. We may look at it again later. Yeah, but so far I think we managed to help out 3 children. In Africa, $100, at least in Kenya, it goes to about 12,000. Which does a lot. Some people are able to pay rent to that and budget for some food and stuff. So it does go a long way. Okay. Now.
So how do you get the $100? Do you sell the painting or?
No, that was just.
You donate the $100.
Yeah, that was just a donation. Okay. That was just a donation.
And is this one of the top students?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You already see it coming. Every time, that is so stunning.
Thank you.
I love it. I love the look. I like the little boy. There's something about her that I just absolutely is drawing me to it.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, I want to show you from this angle. Actually, let me start the cover.
Oh wow!
Right
So from this angle, she's looking that way.
Yeah.
And then if you move over here, she's looking at you.
Walking, and it turns into
wow.
Yeah.
You see it, honey?
Oh wow.
That is amazing.
That is so cool.
How did you do this? You have to paint 2 different paintings?
Yes, these are 2 different paintings. So let me tell you the story behind this. We did an exhibition in February. The title was Adam and Eve.
Wow.
So for me, Adam and Eve is the earliest representation of marriage. Okay, so when 2 people come together, to me, you become one.
Yes.
So over time, it's difficult to differentiate whose voice it is that is speaking because you think the same, you're headed in the right direction. So this to me is 2 different entities, but very well molded into one, which is the perfect marriage. You know.
That is amazing.
So
now, how will you, like, if someone buys this, how will you ship that?
This has to be shipped in a box.
Wow.
Yeah, it can't be rolled out. It has, because even framing this, it took the guy, I think probably about 2 weeks, he was trying to figure out how we're going to do this, you know. So he finally created like a box for it, and then so this is really quite special, and I'm probably going to do a lot more of these because I enjoyed the process so much.
Beautiful. I love it. This is amazing.
Thank you so much for coming all the way here.
It wasn't that far. So where do you store your pictures once you have them here?
No, I don't have them here. It's too much of a distraction. I'll just stop and start staring. So my biggest challenge actually is storage. So I keep this in my room when I'm not showing people. So this used to be a terrace. It was open, completely open. So when I first moved in, I bought an Arabic tent that would come from that wall up to here, around about here. So it was partially covered, but that's when I used to paint here. Sandstorms and rain and everything, so I was really having a hard time. But 2 years ago I managed to get it covered, and now I have a studio per se. It's still a little bit hot. It's a challenge for me. I'm yet to get better AC, but this
is your space.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Where do you get your canvas? You have to order this online?
No, I go to a place called Bata, which is you've been to Bata. And then recently I've started to use this. This is canvas they use for making bags for carrying cargo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is sometimes what is available. So it's sort of the same thing. I just have to prime it first.
And where do you get your paints?
Amazon. Now paints have been a challenge, particularly because of the pandemic. I went, I think maybe like 3 months without white. Without white, you can't paint anything. I think that's about the time I started to do all these crazy colors, because now it's like, okay, now I'm being pushed out of my comfort zone, you know. So I'm very fortunate to have someone who is able to send them to me on a regular basis. So now I have stock. Come what may, I always have. Yeah.
This is just stunning. They're beautiful. Thank you for letting me come in and tour your studio. And you ship internationally?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Actually, this morning, there's another couple that was here earlier on at about 7:30 to take another painting that they had bought some time ago, and I had to pack it for them this like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how long does it take you to do the packing of the?
Because now I have to remove the staples. It takes some time. It takes a few hours. But it's okay. Loud music in the background and I'm yeah.